welcome to the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show. My name is Benita Lambert, and I am the host. I'm also a Medicare and life insurance agent. And I have two very special guests that's going to educate us in farming and agriculture, and also talk about their latest book, which is Grow and Eat. So we have our first guest is Farmer Sean, who's very popular. You probably already know him because I'm told almost everywhere he goes, somebody knows him.
Some people.
Some people know him. So welcome to the show, Farmer Sean.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. And then we have Farmer Rich Myers, who just came back from vacation and looking very, very relaxed.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you on the show. How was your vacation?
It was amazing. We'll
Where'd
recommend
you go?
it. I went to Curacao.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. If you went to New York, I'm jealous. I need vacation so bad.
Yeah, need to step out.
Well, thank you for coming. So why don't we start with Farmer Sean? Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? And you can start with, after you do that, I'd like to hear more about your farm.
Okay. Well, as you said, my name is Farmer Sean. I started my farming or gardening journey, I would say at 7 years old. We moved from the east end of Bridgeport to the east side and finally had a yard. And my grandmother and all of my family being from Haiti, we always had some type of something growing. So we had the opportunity to grow something in the ground. And from the moment I saw a seed turn into a vegetable that provided us produce throughout the summer, I just fell in love with the magic of it and never stopped messing with or trying to grow plants ever since. And then professionally got into this roughly about maybe 8 or 10 years ago. Just through going through school, went to Naugatuck Valley, got my horticulture degree, and that's also where I ran into Rich. And from there, once we were the only ones in the program, or only black people that were in the program, and it was all the way in Waterbury. So not only just being the only people of color in there, but also being the only ones from Bridgeport, we kind of linked up and built a friendship, and from there we started a business partnership.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. And what about you, Farmer Rich? You
Well,
want to give us a little background?
Yeah, my love of farming came from, I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
And in Jamaica, you eat off the land. So the land provides you with what you need throughout the year, right? So with that being said, my family had that same implication throughout wherever we went. The same thing when we moved from the east end. I was on the east end of Bridgeport. My grandmother had soil inside of crates just to feed us tomatoes and onions and things of that nature. And then we finally got some land when we moved to the north end. It was the same thing. We dug out a parcel of land, and then we were able to have lettuce, collard greens, callaloo, all hot peppers and all that stuff. We were able to provide ourselves as well as our neighbors with food. So with that being said, I went off into the business world, but I was faced with epilepsy. So when I was in the business world and I had epilepsy, I was let go from the business because I was missing a few days. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm never getting fired again. So I started my own, I want to start my own business. So I was like, what will I like to do? Mm-hmm. At that point, my grandmother was still living. I wanted to still take taps in with her. And she had passed away right before I started school. But I was like, I want to be something that I could relate to my grandmother with, plus be a business person, also be able to help out everyone else. With that combination, I went to school for horticulture, which is the art and science of plants. Learned a couple fancy words with the knowledge I already have, and been able to do exactly what I wanted to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. So, we all three of us have a lot in common. I mean, number one, we love our jobs. It's not like really a job because we have such a passion for it.
Exactly.
And I grew up on the east side of Bridgeport in Panic Village. We never had a yard. But growing up on the east side of Bridgeport, it was a community where we didn't get information. So my passion is giving out information on insurance, Medicare, life insurance, and so on and so forth. But we won't get into all that because this is about you. My husband, I met him at the Free Riders Motorcycle Club. You guys familiar with that? And he's from North Carolina. And he has a garden. He has a green thumb. I have a beautiful yard right now, let me tell you. He does, annuals, the mulching, everything is wonderful. Right now he's having trouble finding iceberg lettuce starters, so maybe I'll talk to you guys about that later. We need some to go in the garden because he planted it, it didn't take. And so,
No
We got to
problem.
get some of that.
We
so
can get that
I'm
situated.
excited to have you guys on and to, you don't see a lot of black men of color doing gardening and growing, farming that I know of coming from this area, probably like in the West or whatever.
Yeah.
But so now where is your farm?
Well, our farm is located on we're like on the Bridgeport-Trumbull line, so we're on closer to the north end of Bridgeport. And as of right now, we're leasing private property. So when we first started our journey, we were using a plot in his mom's backyard, like a plot on the side of my house, and had a few family members that let us use their backyards, and then just about every community garden in Bridgeport, we were doing that. So it was extremely tough when it came time. Like planting wasn't too bad, that was easy. But when it came time to maintaining each spot and then driving around to harvest, to make it to the markets on time, it became a lot of different logistics involved. So in search of land and in search of land that somebody can lease to us, somebody came forward through social media and they, we worked out a deal with them and we're right now currently farming in their yard.
How many acres?
It's roughly a quarter acre that we're farming on right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So everything we do, no power. Well, we use power tools when need be, but there's rarely little, if any, gas-powered machinery. So everything we do is just manual labor with our own two hands.
Okay. So in addition to farming, you also have farmer market stands. Is that the correct terminology?
Yeah.
That you guys do? One in Trumbull, one in Bridgeport?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that because I want to be a part of that.
Well, there's a few, but just to go back to a topic you said earlier, there is a low number of farmers, correct, especially of African American community. The stat is 1.3%. That's why one of our missions at Park City Harvest was to change the image of farming, which is happening at the moment. When we started, we were the only African American farmers in our community. But now there's like a good different 5 businesses in Bridgeport alone that's in this or agricultural world. Plus there's more that we end up connecting with, seeing that we're not the only ones out here in Connecticut. Now there's like a whole group that we stay in contact with throughout the whole Connecticut of African American farmers.
Right, I'm going to invite you guys we're probably on summer break right now I'm on the board member of the Minority Business Association. You should I'm going to invite you guys to one of the meetings, probably start around August or September. It's the last Wednesday of the month. And we have a lot of resources there that you guys might be able to tap into, and help expand and grow your business. There's a lot of state and city grants, there. We have a lot of resources, people coming in, that can bankroll some of this stuff and that could, help you guys grow your business.
Honestly, that's the type of information that's
I'm not making any promises, but you have nothing to lose, and that organization is there for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So that's really interesting. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see my husband go out. He'll work in the yard all day, and that's got to be. And he has high blood pressure, so for him, it's just relaxing.
Therapeutic.
Yeah. And for what you said, really hit home because I just had my first granddaughter about how you got into it when you were like 7 years old.
Yeah.
And to see, plant a seed and then you see a flower pop out or whatever. I'm going to do that with my granddaughter, Kalani.
Oh, yeah.
You never know where a passion is going to come from.
Oh, yeah.
Where, when you're going to go back to it when you grow up. That's amazing for a little kid. Like she's fascinated with the lights now. She's only 2.
Yeah,
well, she hasn't even turned 2. She'll be 2 next month. Yep.
Everything excites children. When they see strawberry growing out the ground rather than off a tree, that excites them a lot. That's why we have a children's book coming out soon too, as well. By the end of this year, it's going to teach kids about food waste and making it superheroes type thing. So it's a bunch of stuff coming together.
So you could be their superheroes and superheroes that look like them.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Harvest Heroes.
Better.
So the people that's harvesting is the heroes for the community.
Yeah. My son went to Common Ground High School. Are you guys familiar with the high school?
Yes, I've heard of it.
When he started there, well, he's 27 now, and he graduated from college and all that. But when he started there was only 60 kids, and they raised the animals. Well, you know about it. They raised the animals. They grew all the food that they grew, provided free breakfast and lunch for the kids there.
Yeah.
Phenomenal school.
Exactly.
They have all kind of trees, and now it's huge. I don't know if you've been there lately, but it's really huge.
I've
Yeah.
been invited, so I'm gonna go
You
by the
should
end of this
go.
year.
Yeah. And then when they first start out, like all the grades, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, so the freshmen don't get picked on, they all camp out for a week and get to know each other before school even starts.
Oh, that's different.
That's the begin. Oh,
That's real
this
different.
school is special. These
That's
kids
different.
love the teachers so much. They sent letters home to the parents to please have your kids out of school by 5:30. They didn't want to come home. Yep. But anyway, I don't want to take up all that. This goes by really fast, but that was surprising, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
can't get them
definitely.
to go to school.
Nah, yeah, I'll be ready to get up out of whoop wop.
They were all like little ambassadors. They were like smart. They were all taking AP classes, and they had to be involved in two groups. Not groups. Two what do you call it? Programs where they did special things. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, forget about that. They all had to be involved in two of them, and they were in two groups. Where one of them, one group built that my son was in. They built like a 3D printer.
Ooh, like robotics.
Yes, robotics.
Okay, yeah.
Well, his degree is in video game design, so.
Oh, that's
yeah,
where it
then
is.
it was an awesome school. But anyway, I want you to tell our audience about your new book, Grow and Eat. It doesn't get any simpler than that. I love the title.
Yeah.
I love to eat.
Yeah, so a lot of times at the farmers markets that we'd be at or just out and about, a lot of people would always ask us advice on certain vegetables, how to grow them, or at the farmers markets, certain vegetables that we have. People would want to try them, but they wouldn't know what to do with it or how to cook it or anything like that. And that we saw that was a barrier that was keeping a lot of people in our community, especially from even trying fresh produce, or even if it's out of season and they're at a supermarket somewhere, even buying fresh produce. So we kind of compiled everything together. So in the book, the first half of the chapter would go into teaching you how to grow the vegetable, all the steps that you would need. And then the second half of it provides recipes, so that way you would know how to cook that vegetable, based on whatever it is that you would grow. And always you can, flip the recipes however you want to better fit, whether it be a certain lifestyle or dietary restriction that you have. But that was the basic premise of the book, was how can we continuously help people in their, path of eating better and taking more control over what they're eating by growing it themselves without being there, So we do also always put out information through our social media or through our website or Patreon. But for anybody that may be at a technological disadvantage or just don't like using technology that much, this is another option, another way that they can still always have like a reference or always have like a piece of information to learn from. Because a lot of the vegetables, we stuck to the main groups of them, but there's a lot of vegetables that do grow very similarly, so the same thing, same practices could be applied to them.
I don't know how to cook squash, and all I know how to
we'll
squash is
teach
one
you.
of the main things. But I grow it, so I give it away because it's so pretty and
Oh,
yellow.
We're about 3 different recipes on squash alone, like even a pie.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
so.
zucchini. Like when we go to a hibachi restaurant, I'll eat it raw, but I don't know how to cook it. Like when my husband grows it, I don't know how big to grow it. Sometimes we won't get to the garden for a while, and you get out there and there's like a watermelon
too
out there.
big, yeah,
And
yeah.
then there's all seeds inside, so that's not good. So, that's great to have. Wow. Okay. And so it's all about teaching people how to grow the vegetables.
And not only how to grow it, but how to preserve it, as in how to cook it and how to make other recipes, like recipes from the vegetable that you actually grow.
So yeah, we're in Connecticut, okay, and it's cold. So what do you do if you grow a bunch of vegetables? Do you teach people how to jar them, or do you just freeze them? I freeze mine because I don't know how to jar anything. Like the green peppers, I freeze those. I cut them up. I take the insides out and cut it in half, and I just freeze them in Ziploc freezer bags. And I have some that I'm using now from our garden last year.
Exactly.
And then my garden, well, I say my garden, it's my husband's garden.
It's y'all garden
Every
now.
other year. Well, you know what? He does all the dirty work, and I go in there and pluck it and give it away.
And take some pictures.
But I wash it down, and I bring some here and everything.
Everybody plays a part.
It seems like every other year, like we'll get a whole lot of peppers, and then the next year we'll get a few peppers and a whole lot of cucumbers. Why is that? Are we doing something wrong?
Are you
And
planting them
we
in
plant them in
a?
the same place because
That's-
cucumbers is like growing up along the fence.
It could be a few different things. Could be one, just simply could be the environment and the weather. Weather patterns haven't been consistent these past few years,
That's
so
true.
that could play a portion into it. If they're in the same spot each year, peppers, they do like a lot of fertilizer, or they do take up a lot of nutrients. So if they're not fully replenished throughout the off season, like fall, winter time, that could be an issue as well. Or simply could just be the plant itself, just how the plant was treated before it got into your hands. Whether he's starting them himself from seed or if you're buying starters from somebody else, could be any type of stress to that. Because most plants, it'll take them 2 weeks to respond from any type of stress that they go through. So whether it's good or bad, it takes up to 2 weeks before they respond. And peppers, they're already a slow growing crop anyways. So depending on what time you get them in the ground, and then if they were in shock for any reason, it'll take 2 weeks before they even reset. And then if we have like a few weeks ago where we had a frost and everything like that, most people, they thought it was safe to put their stuff out because during
How's it
April, we were having consistent 60, 70 degree weather days. And then all of a sudden, a cold snap hit us. So even though if your plants survive, it's still going to take them about 2 weeks to bounce back into whatever their normal growth pattern would be like. So it could be a lot of things.
What about here's and I guess I'm just being look at this book. Okay, everybody take a look at this. It's the Farmer Market bestseller, Grow to Eat, by Sean Joseph and Richard Myers. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And you came from my hood. You're like neighborhood heroes.
Yeah. Definitely.
Seriously.
Bridgeportians.
You know?
Definitely represent.
That is just a basic necessity to eat. I mean, that's awesome.
I always say what people need to realize and put some respect on is the fact that if a farmer doesn't work, nobody eats.
Nobody eats.
Literally. So.
I have the utmost respect.
Yeah. So I think we're one of the most important pillars in society in general.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, between food and water, I can't think of anything more essential than that to keep us going.
Yeah, herbs.
Yeah.
We need to stay on the herbs as well. Make sure we eat, taking in these medicinal herbs that we have here that nature provides us, because a lot of that could help us with a lot of diseases that's going on or prevent that from happening. So.
Like what? Like what diseases?
There's multiple
What
things
herbs?
going on. Like, for example, there's a lot of people in general. So
Yep.
a lot of herbs with stress would be ashwagandha. We're working on a book called Grow to Heal. It's going to be medicinal. All tell you how to use of time.
I've been using that for centuries.
Oh yeah, definitely. We
Still
live
to
off the
this
land.
day.
We trust the land.
Well,
you know.
the rest of the world is catching up now, as you can see.
Oh yeah.
On the CBD and things like that.
Things
as
of that
well.
nature. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of herbs. Especially, I was going over a list yesterday, like doing research on just herbs for women alone that will help them through
Menopause.
times of menopause and times of.
Look at me right now, a hot flash.
Exactly.
I know
Yeah.
you see me sweating. I have no shame. I'm just sweating.
Yeah.
And I try to sit very still when that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need that. you know?
Exactly. It's needed. So between food, herbs, and just trying to live life without being so stressful, you need
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? I do Medicare and life insurance, and so I see a lot of people, almost everybody I sit down with has high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. It's just, and then a lot of anxiety out there,
Yeah.
like you're saying.
Exactly.
And there's a pill for everything, but I'm the type of person, I don't take any medications. I am a senior, and, I would like to have something that, would combat hot flashes.
Yeah, I hear you.
Instead of that bracelet, you saw the commercial, the Ember, whatever commercial. There's like a medication for almost everything. But
Yeah, they
I just
do, but
don't
them side effects be
believe
sounding crazy.
and all that stuff. I don't want to take a pill for.
It's always a pill for everything. The pill causes some type of side effect, and then
There's a pill for that
you
side
get
effect.
another pill for that side effect.
Oh my
and
goodness! The
then
next thing you know, you
you
got
go
an
down the
opioid
rabbit
clinic.
hole. Exactly. Next thing you know, now you got to put a lock on your cabinet so the little one doesn't get into it because
Right.
it's filled with nothing but, from what their eyes are, is little maracas that they can shake up in the cabinet.
That's exactly what they do. So for our
that's
audience out there, what are some of the really good fresh vegetables that people can eat to help with, high blood pressure, like beets? My husband eats beets, and he takes those keto beets things, pills.
Yeah,
not pills. It's like a chewy
like
vitamin.
the true ones. Yeah, I've seen them before. Beets always help out, red or golden. And
with high blood pressure, we're talking about now.
That'll help with that. There's moringa powder, moringa leaves. That always helps out with any blood issues as well. And that is a crop that it can be grown in our Connecticut climate. It is treated as an annual summer crop, but
I never heard of it.
If you're lucky enough, you can always bring the plant indoors if you have the space and the resources to do so. You can bring it indoors to continuously grow it, but it is something that you can grow outdoors as well. A majority of anything can be grown. It's just the amount of the time. So
space.
And the space. So a lot of times we'll start things off indoors, like things like watermelons or loofahs or anything like that. They take anywhere from 100 to 120 days of like full sun to grow. So we'll start them off early on indoors, so that way we can get them outside to get that time throughout the summer to grow and be able to get a harvest from it.
And see, our neighborhoods, I don't know if you know it, but more than likely you do, is like we're suffering malnutrition in our neighborhoods.
Exactly. That's why we need to educate folks on, what foods to eat that they could go to the grocery store and buy, like beets. I never heard of the second one that you just mentioned. Like, and kale and, stuff like that, so that they can be healthier, and try to at least take less. Like, I went to the doctor, my cholesterol was 239. That's high for me. And so I didn't want to take a statin. So I gave up, a year ago, I gave up eating pork and beef. And I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I was a huge meat eater, but I substituted it with shrimp, which has probably twice
Seafood.
as much cholesterol. So I gave up shrimp. I gave up all shellfish for 6 months. I'm willing to make the sacrifice to be healthy, and then I'll go back and do everything in moderation, But I don't want to take a pill. And my doctor said, since I do go to the gym, 4 or 5 times a week, I try to work out, 60, 90 minutes a day. He said, he won't do it now, but I got to go back in 6 months and he'll check to see where I am. But there's a lot of things you can do, that will make you healthier. Even in addition to, like, it's tough to say the D word. Every time you say the word diet, you tend to eat more, and it's tough to do that. But what I did with my husband and his high blood pressure, I added a salad to whatever he eats, wings and pizza and junk food. We eat all that stuff. But just adding a different salad every day, the sales, the spinach, and all. By adding that in 4 days, he won't on Friday go out till I get checked. His blood pressure, and it lowered it. So he went to work, and he had his blood pressure was 2. So he has 1 pill, and that it happened right as
Yes, I do understand is the fact that you are going out and using natural remedies through just changing your diet. People like the diet. It's whether you have a good diet, bad diet, balanced diet, unbalanced, whatever it may be. But when you are going through your diet, and I have no problem with it, because I always look as if this pill my blood to a acceptable manner in 3 months versus my normal diet taking a year, I feel is because it has a high concentration of that. And my kidneys and liver and adrenal system still have to process all of that.
Right.
So I might be lowering my blood pressure. What else is it doing?
Exactly.
That's where the next pill comes in.
I actually had high blood pressure. I actually had high blood pressure when I was younger, from like the age of 12 to 16. I was a real chubby kid. But due to my grandmother finding that out afterwards that I was taking medication for it, that's when she started giving me these herbs. And those herbs, after a while, when I went back to the doctor, he was like, you no longer have this thing. So I stopped taking the medication.
Well, I can't wait for that book.
Yeah.
And everybody, I just want to, Francisco, can you put the book up again?
Oh, you also did want to know what other vegetables you can have? Microgreens. Microgreens, 40 times the amount of vegetables. So if you
Microgreens,
have one cabbage and one microgreen cabbage, it's like 40 times the amount. So just throw a little bit of that on your sandwich, you're all set.
This is great information. We have about a minute and a half left. I'll leave it for you guys. What would you like to tell our audience about your book, about your farm, or whatever?
Okay. For anything that we talked about, you can always get in touch with us. The contacts are down here. And as well, we do also have videos and other information as far as growing the microgreens, like Rich just talked about, growing any of the vegetables that we grow. We do have different services where we'll come and set up a garden for you, help maintain it, things of that nature. And also at the same time, we're here to show and prove that you can look like us, come from the neighborhoods that we come from, and still be involved in farming and agriculture. And also you can do whatever it is that you're interested in and figure out a way to get paid for it. And I feel that's the way you'll be best of service to yourself and to your community. So,
all right. I would like to add, visit us at parkcityharvest.com. That's where we have a lot of products. We make our produce. We grow produce and we make products out of those produce, and we sell those products on parkcityharvest.com as well as our books.
And I would just like to say, whoever's watching this, please share this. We're on YouTube. You can share it nationwide. This is Grow to Eat, the farmer market bestseller. Thank you so much. This is David Goodman, Reality and Truth Show. I want to thank you guys for coming on, and hopefully you'll be back.
thank you.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you for the invite.